Ladies and gentlemen, drivers, gig workers, and everyone in between, welcome to This Week in Rideshare podcast. I'm your host, Jared Hoffa. It is Friday, August 29th, and this week, a rideshare passenger gets assaulted, an epic Robotaxi fail, and Uber settles for $15 million. Legal Rideshare breaks it down. And from Legal Rideshare, I'm joined by the co-founder and lead attorney, Bryant Greening. Bryant, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Jared. We're about to start a long weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I hope
Yes.
everyone else is as well.
Yes, and beautiful weather in Chicago. I was just talking to someone the other day on the West Coast, and they're still getting, I guess, battered, or it's hot out there. I don't know, but it is incredible right now in Chicago. I am thrilled.
Yeah, it's like San Diego weather out here. So
It is. It is. It really is. And I am a huge fan of that. So, yes.
yes.
So let's jump right in. Actually, the first story involves you, and this is from CBS News. A rideshare passenger was assaulted in Chicago, and again, CBS News reported on this and said, quote, according to Chicago police, the 29-year-old woman was assaulted in the 800 block of West Superior Street, just west of Halsted Street. Police say the suspected the victim was a rideshare passenger, and she was taken to the hospital for evaluation. The driver of the gray Toyota Prius, in which the woman had been a passenger, tried to pull away and flee, but he struck a pole and was taken into police custody. Now, Brian, you were mentioned here a few times, and you said ultimately we want to make sure that people have the tools necessary to arm themselves with safe practices anytime they use a ride share. You also said, which you've said many times before, if something feels off about the ride, don't get in the car. So, yeah, I mean, really a tragic story yet again. But, yeah, if you want to weigh in, and obviously because you're part of the story, please feel free.
Yeah, it's a horrible event. Something, terrible happened. And once again, we're confronted with safety and rideshare. We're in a position where we need to reevaluate the practices of the companies, the practices of everybody involved, and figure out ways that this can be made as safe as humanly possible. The story about what happened to this woman is absolutely horrible, and I hope that the criminal justice system takes care of it efficiently and that justice is swiftly and thoroughly served. That said, for the rest of us, there are lessons to be learned here. There are lessons about how to listen to your senses. If you feel like something's off in the ride, don't take the ride, or ask that you stop in a well-lit area and get out. Call the authorities. Share your location with loved ones. Make sure even before you get in the vehicle that you're getting in the right car. When things like this happen, when there's tragedies that occur, it serves as a opportunity for all of us to reevaluate our safety practices, the tools that are available to us, and make sure that we know how to stay safe, what to do if something goes wrong, and just to take every precaution that we can, because this industry, it's not perfect. We see these sorts of events way more often than we should. So I brush up on how to deal with safety and how to protect yourself. It's always a good reminder to be well versed and kept up in those practices.
Yeah, exactly. And, again, you said it today, you said it during the interview. It's like if you see something or if you feel something's off, that's the biggest thing. That's the point you should say, okay, I'm not getting in, or, have a backup plan. So I think that's important that you brought that up. And of course, everyone should stay safe. That's the whole key here. Moving on to the next story. Tesla's Robotaxi has an epic fail. And this is from The Street. And they reported, quote, Frank Downing and Sam Corias, two of ARC's research directors, filmed themselves taking a field trip, or as they call it, a real-world use case, in the Robotaxi in Austin. Frank, they kind of explain what's happening in this video. So eventually they get into two other Robotaxis, seemingly are okay. They get into the third Robotaxi, and they said that's when the trouble starts. The autonomous vehicle pulls into the left turning lane on a two-way street before it glitches and starts jerking aggressively as if it didn't know what to do next. The video is edited after that, but from what we can tell and what we can gather, the safety monitor turns on the hazard lights and calls for live support, as Tesla robotaxis are designed for remote supervision. The vehicle is then stuck in the left turning lane despite being otherwise fully operational, as the passenger and monitor wait for full tech support. So this basically, Brian, is a video that's showing really that Tesla's robotaxis are not ready, and everything goes wrong. You know, even with the person in the front seat, they don't have no control. It's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, it sounds like a nightmare, and it sounds like safety hazards all around. I mean, what I'm hearing when I see that story is the passengers are in danger, the community's in danger because the car's acting in a way that is unpredictable, often unsafe, and often illegal. The fact that we're seeing these sorts of malfunctions, which are causing hazardous situations for everybody on which these cars are operating. I think that local and state governments need to see stories like this and think long and hard about whether they're going to allow these vehicles on the road until they have a proven track record of being safe. We have said time and time again that a technology like this needs to be tested in areas where there are not risks of human endangerment. I want to see towns built in the desert where these things can learn streets and navigate issues and drive around road hazards and stop when there's a ball that rolls into the street. And every single thing that a driver needs to do, these vehicles need to do those safety actions and more before we let them go free on our city streets. So if I was running a local government, I would be paying very close attention to stories like this and ask really tough questions when the companies came in and said, hey, we want to open up shop. Because not until they're safe, not on my watch at least.
Yeah, and I didn't even highlight some of the other things that happened in this article. This is sort of the key, but basically, of the 3 times, I think both other times, while the ride went okay, it took twice as long to get there. I think there was some of the weird glitch the second time, and the third time, as you saw, it just completely shut down. And yeah, there's just, again, especially with Tesla's robotaxis, I mean, having someone in the front seat and it's still failing is really not a good sign.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
even with the safety features, it still fails.
Right. I mean, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And the person who's supposed to be monitoring it can't even do anything. Like, they have to call support to get it fixed. So
What are they doing?
yeah, I mean, what a mess. But yeah, I have a feeling we're going to keep hearing more of these stories. We talked about this before. We thought we would hear these issues, and guess what? We're seeing them, we're hearing them. So that leads us to our final story. Not much of a shocker here, as Uber always seems to be up to no good. Uber Eats is paying up, and this is from King 5, and they reported, quote, the company will pay over $14 million, almost about $15 million, in back pay, interest, damages, and civil penalties to 16,000 affected workers by September 1st as part of the settlement, which was released in July. It will also pay the city of Seattle $33,000 in fines. The first investigation found Uber Eats violated the city's independent contractor protections law. A worker complained about the company's Boost promotion, where Uber Eats advertised Boost earnings multipliers during busy times and locations. It said workers could multiply their base fare by a specific number on a map and add earnings to the fare. However, the investigation found that Uber Eats didn't disclose that the Boost multiplier only applied to part of the worker's fare, and that the dollar amount shown already included contributions from the promotion. The investigation also found Uber Eats paid workers less than the amount shown on pre-work offer cards. The majority of the settlement, more than $13 million, was related to alleged violations of that law. So they basically hid the truth, then lied about what they were getting, and then still underpaid. So we've got a triple whammy here, Bryant.
It's really something.
Crazy.
All these, how we see Uber trying to skirt paying drivers, how to skirt treating drivers with basic respect and humanity, and it's just every single week we tend to hear one of these stories, and we tend to see how they're screwing the worker to their own benefit. It makes me sick. And it also makes me wonder just how many of these things are not being discovered. Like this here, this is pretty complicated. This is a pretty complicated calculation. The fact that drivers were able to figure this out, calculate the numbers, understand that they were making less than they were being promised, and then prove it to the point where Uber's forking up $15 million. Like that says something about drivers' tenacity, their smarts, and the fact that working and fighting for yourself pays off. Like the fact that the drivers were able to figure this out and ultimately force Uber to recognize that they made this mistake in quotes and then pay up as a result of it. That shows the power that the drivers have when they stay on top of their fares, when they really look at the data, and ultimately when they collectively work together. Because if one driver had just been complaining about, hey, Uber shorted me, I don't think anybody's paying attention. This is a result of Uber's drivers and gig workers really doing what it takes to fight for their rights, fight for their pay, and get what you're entitled to. So bravo there, and I'm glad Uber's paying up.
Yeah, you nailed it. I think Uber really underestimates the power of the driver community, which we do not. And just like you said, I mean, this was started with one worker who I'm sure, like you said, started talking to other workers who also confirmed, yeah, something seems wrong about this, which I'm glad that they stayed on it and pushed for it. But it also, like you said, it brings up a very good point that there's more than likely thousands of these happening within the year that aren't covered or maybe too small to really make a huge impact that they wouldn't notice. But yeah, I mean, sticking to their guns, working together, pushing for answers, and once again, our favorite word on here, transparency, knowing like, hey, this doesn't seem right. Like something's off here and you're hiding something. And it turns out, oops, we've been hiding things and we're kind of screwing over Seattle as well.
Right.
So yeah, good on them for pushing on this.
Yep. I'm right there with you.
Sweet. Well, that is the stories for this week. But before we head into the beautiful long Labor Day weekend, Brian, I will give you the final say.
Yeah, before Labor Day weekend here, we remind everybody that Legal Rideshare is always available for free consultations. If you're ever injured on the job, whether it's a car accident, a slip and fall, a dog bite, you name it, we can help you recover things like medical bills, lost wages, pain and suffering, anything else, any other damage that you sustain. We're going to help secure money from the insurance companies and compensate you in every way that you're entitled. LegalRideshare.com is the best way to find all of our contact information. And please, please contact us right away as these claims do not get better with time. You want to act quickly to make sure that your case has the best foundation possible to secure everything that you deserve.
Thank you, Brian. And as I like to say, that is the end of this week in Rideshare. See you next week.